Andrew, I have to tell you something. I've been studying English for years. I understand almost everything I hear or read, but the moment I try to speak, my brain just freezes. It's like a deer caught in headlights. Everything I know just disappears.
Oh, Emma, that is so incredibly common. Honestly, if I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be a very rich man. Welcome to SpeakCast English, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into that exact feeling. That frustrating moment when you understand English perfectly, but the words just won't come out. And trust me, you are not alone.
No, really. It's like my brain has a secret, mute, button that only activates when a native speaker asks me a simple question. I can listen to a whole podcast, read a long article, watch a movie without subtitles, and feel totally confident. But then, my boss asks me, "How was your weekend?" And suddenly, I'm just blank. My mind goes completely empty.
That's it, exactly. And it's not because you don't know the answer or the words. You do. Here's the thing. Most people don't realize that understanding a language and speaking it are actually two very different skills. They're related, of course, but they use different parts of your brain and different mental processes.
So, it's not just me being, I don't know, shy or stupid? Because sometimes I feel really stupid. I feel like, Emma, you know this. Why can't you just say it?
Absolutely not, Emma. You are neither shy nor stupid. This is a very real, very common psychological barrier. Think about it this way. When you're listening or reading, your brain is like a detective. It's receiving clues, putting them together, and figuring out the meaning. It's a receptive process. You're taking information in.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, I'm a good listener. I can understand the story.
Exactly. But when you speak, your brain has to become a creator. It's not just taking in information, it's asterisk producing it. It has to access vocabulary, put words into the correct grammatical order, choose the right pronunciation, and do all of this in real time, under pressure. That's a huge cognitive load.
And that's when the deer in headlights thing happens. Because I'm trying to do all of that at once, and my brain just goes, nope. Too much.
Precisely. Your brain is trying to be perfect. It's trying to construct the ideal sentence, and if it can't find that perfect sentence immediately, it just stalls. It's like a computer that tries to run too many programs at once and just freezes.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy. My brain is an old computer. So, this happened to me last week. I was at a coffee shop, and I wanted to order a new drink I saw on the menu. I knew the name, I knew how to say, "I'd like to order." But then the barista asked, "Anything else for you today?" And I just froze. I wanted to say, "No, thank you, that's all for now," but it came out as, "No, yeah, thanks." I felt so silly. I walked away feeling like I'd failed a test.
See, that's a classic example. You had the words, you knew the concept, but the pressure of a real-time interaction, even a very short one, triggered that freeze response. Your brain was probably trying to translate, "No, thank you, that's all for now," perfectly from Vietnamese into English, checking the grammar, checking the pronunciation, and by the time it was ready, the moment had passed.
Yes. That's exactly it. The translating in my head is a huge problem. I feel like I'm always doing it. I think in Vietnamese, then translate to English, then try to speak. It takes so long.
And that translation step is a massive bottleneck. It slows you down, increases the pressure, and often leads to unnatural-sounding English because you're forcing Vietnamese sentence structures into English words.
So, what's the secret, Andrew? How do we stop this brain freezing, head translating cycle? Because it's really holding me back. I want to have real conversations, not just understand them.
The secret, Emma, and for all our listeners out there, is actually simpler than you might think, but it requires a shift in mindset and some consistent practice. It's not about learning more grammar rules, it's about changing how you approach speaking.
Okay, I'm ready. Tell me. I'm desperate.
Alright, let's dive into the first big fix. Most people don't realize this, but the absolute first step is to embrace good enough English.
Good enough English? But I want to speak well. I want to speak correctly.
And you will, eventually. But right now, your perfectionism is your enemy. Think about a baby learning to walk. They don't wait until they can run a marathon to take their first step. They stumble, they fall, they look clumsy, but they keep trying. If they waited to be perfect, they'd never walk.
So, you're saying I should just make mistakes? That feels so wrong. My teachers always corrected my mistakes.
Your teachers were helping you learn grammar. But speaking is about communication. Let me tell you about my own experience learning Spanish when I first moved abroad. I was terrible. My grammar was all over the place, my vocabulary was limited, and I mispronounced words constantly. I remember once I was trying to tell someone I was embarrassed because I'd forgotten something, but I accidentally said I was embarazada, which means pregnant.
Laughs. Oh no. That's a big mistake. What happened?
Well, the person looked at me with wide eyes, and then we both laughed when I realized my mistake. But here's the crucial part. We communicated. We understood each other, even with the mistake. They understood I was feeling awkward, not that I was expecting a baby. And that shared laugh actually made us connect better. If I had waited until my Spanish was perfect to speak, I would have spent months in silence, unable to make friends or buy groceries.
Wow. So, it's about getting the message across, even if it's not perfect. But I still worry people will judge me.
That's a natural fear. But honestly, most native speakers are not judging you. They are impressed you're speaking their language at all. They appreciate the effort. The goal is to be understood, not to sound like a news anchor. So, the next time you feel that freeze coming on, just tell yourself, good enough is perfect for now.
Good enough is perfect for now. Okay. I like that. It takes some pressure off.
Exactly. Let's try saying that phrase together. I'll say it slowly, then you repeat it, and then we'll invite our listeners to say it with us. This is a great way to start practicing speaking without pressure. Ready?
Ready.
Good enough is perfect for now.
Good enough is perfect for now.
Excellent. Now, listeners, repeat that with us. Say it out loud. Good enough is perfect for now. This is your mantra to fight that perfectionism.
I can feel a little less pressure already. But what about the translating? That's still a big one for me.
That brings us to our second big fix. Stop translating in your head and start thinking in English. This is a huge game changer, and it directly tackles that bottleneck you mentioned.
But how do I do that? My brain just automatically thinks in Vietnamese. It's like a reflex. I can't just switch it off.
You can't switch it off instantly, no. But you can train it, just like you train a muscle. The key is to start small and be consistent. Most people try to think in full, complex English sentences right away, and that's too hard.
Okay, so what's the small step?
Let me tell you about how I started to think in German when I was learning it. I would literally just label things around me in my head. When I saw a table, I wouldn't think, ban, and then, table. I would just look at it and think, table. When I saw a dog, I'd think, dog. When I saw a car, car.
Just single words? That's it?
Yes, start with single words. Then, when you're a bit more comfortable, move to short phrases. Red car, big dog, hot coffee. Then, slightly longer phrases, describing what you're doing or seeing. I am walking. The sun is shining. I need to buy groceries.
So, it's like a running commentary in my own head, but in English?
Precisely. It's your internal monologue, but in English. This trains your brain to connect directly to the English word or concept, bypassing the Vietnamese translation step. It builds a direct neural pathway. Most people don't realize how much their internal monologue influences their speaking. If you're constantly thinking in your native language, you're always having to translate before you speak.
That makes so much sense. I never thought about my internal thoughts as practice. So, if I'm washing dishes, I can just think, water is hot. I am washing a plate. This plate is clean.
Exactly. Or if you're planning your day, instead of thinking, hôm nay tôi phải đi chợ, think, today I need to go to the market. Don't worry about perfect grammar in your head. Just get the English words flowing. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. It feels awkward at first, but it gets easier.
I can imagine it feeling really weird. Like I'm talking to myself, but inside my head.
It is weird at first, but it's powerful. It's active practice without the pressure of another person listening. It's your brain's warm-up routine. Let's try a common internal thought phrase. Repeat after me slowly. What should I do next?
What should I do next?
Great. Now, listeners, try it with us. What should I do next? Make this your new internal question. Use it whenever you're wondering what to do.
Okay, I can definitely try that. Thinking in English. It sounds challenging but also very logical.
It is challenging, but it's one of the most effective ways to bridge that gap between understanding and speaking. And that leads us to our third crucial fix. You need to actively practice output, not just input.
What do you mean by output? Like speaking? But I just said I freeze when I speak to people.
Yes, speaking. But it doesn't always have to be with another person. Most learners spend 90% of their time on input, listening, reading, watching. And that's great for understanding. But speaking is a different skill, a different muscle. You can't learn to swim by reading books about swimming or watching videos of swimmers. You have to get in the water and move your arms and legs.
So, I need to get in the water with English? But if I don't have a native speaker friend or a teacher available 24/7, what do I do?
That's a common concern, and it's where most people get stuck. But you have tools right at your fingertips. Let me tell you about a student I once had. She was incredibly shy, absolutely terrified of speaking to anyone. So, we started with something very simple. She would record herself speaking for just 1 minute every day.
Record herself? Like, on her phone? What would she say?
Exactly. She'd pick a simple topic. What I ate for breakfast, my plans for tomorrow, something interesting I saw today. The key was that she wasn't talking to anyone, she was just talking to her phone. And she didn't have to listen back to it if she didn't want to. The goal was just to produce the sound, to get her mouth and brain used to forming English words.
That's surprisingly less scary than talking to a real person. But how does that help with the freezing?
Because it builds confidence and muscle memory without the pressure of an audience. When you record yourself, you're not worried about judgment. You're just focusing on getting the words out. You start to realize, hey, I can actually form sentences. I do know these words. Over time, that internal confidence translates to real-life situations. The first minute is hard, the 10th minute is easier, by the 100th minute, it feels more natural.
So, it's like training my speaking muscles. Like I'm at the gym, lifting weights for my tongue.
Perfect analogy. And another powerful output practice is to simply talk to yourself, out loud, in English. Describe your surroundings, narrate your actions, or even just talk through a problem you're having. Okay, I need to go to the store. What should I buy? Milk, eggs, bread. It sounds a bit crazy, I know, but it works wonders. It forces your brain to produce language in real time.
Laughs, my family will think I've finally lost it, talking to myself in English. But I guess if I'm home alone, I could try it. It's like the thinking in English, but external.
Exactly. And don't forget about tools like AI language partners or even just finding a language exchange partner online. The point is to create opportunities for you to speak, even if it's not perfect, even if it's just to yourself. The more you produce, the more fluid you become.
Okay, so, talking to myself, recording myself. These are things I can actually do. They feel less intimidating than trying to hold a conversation with a native speaker right away.
That's the goal. Start with low-pressure output and gradually increase the challenge. Let's practice a useful phrase for expressing an opinion or just getting a thought out. I'll say it slowly, then you repeat, and then our listeners. I think it's important to practice every day.
I think it's important to practice every day.
Fantastic. Now, everyone listening, say it with us. I think it's important to practice every day. Good. Make that a regular thought, a regular phrase.
This is really helpful, Andrew. I feel like I'm getting some actual tools now, not just vague advice to speak more.
That's what we're here for. And here's one more little trick that can help break the freeze, especially in those initial moments. Prepare some go-to phrases or conversation starters.
Like a script? But you said not to rely on translating.
Not a script for an entire conversation, no. Think of them as launch codes. Just a few pre-rehearsed sentences for common situations that you can pull out without thinking. For example, when someone asks, "How are you?" instead of just, "Fine," you could have, "I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? Ready to go?"
Oh, I see. So, like a default setting. Something to get the ball rolling without having to invent it on the spot.
Exactly. When I first moved to Japan, I had a few phrases memorized for ordering food, asking for directions, or just introducing myself. I knew they weren't perfect, but having them ready reduced my anxiety immensely. It took the pressure off the first few seconds of an interaction, which are often the most intimidating. Once I got those few sentences out, I felt more confident to improvise the rest.
That makes a lot of sense. So, instead of being completely blank, I have a few lines ready. Like an actor who knows their opening lines, even if they improvise later.
Precisely. It's like having a little vocabulary and grammar safety net. It gives your brain a running start instead of having to generate everything from scratch. It builds confidence and momentum.
So, for my coffee shop example, instead of just freezing, I could have practiced, "No, thank you, that's all for now. Have a great day," and just say that.
Absolutely. And it sounds natural. The key is to practice these go-to phrases so they roll off your tongue without hesitation. They're not just memorized words, they're practiced sounds.
Okay, I think I have a lot to work on now. Embracing good enough English, trying to think in English, actively practicing output by talking to myself or recording, and having some go-to phrases ready.
You've got it. It's a journey, not a sprint. Every small step builds momentum.
So, Andrew, for my own challenge this week, I think I'm going to focus on thinking in English. I really want to break that translation habit. I'm going to try to narrate my day in my head, just simple words and short phrases, like you said. When I see my breakfast, I'll think, coffee, egg, toast.
That is an excellent choice, Emma. That's a foundational step, and it will make a huge difference over time. I'm really proud of you for committing to that.
Oh, that's a good one. 5 things out loud. It's a small number, so it feels achievable.
Exactly. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. So, to recap our key insights from today. First, embrace good enough English. Don't let perfection be the enemy of communication. Second, train your brain to think directly in English by narrating your day in your head. Third, actively practice speaking, even if it's just to yourself or your phone, to build that speaking muscle. And finally, have some go-to phrases ready to kickstart conversations and reduce that initial anxiety.
It all comes back to breaking that freeze. I really feel like I have a plan now, Andrew. Thank you.
Now, we want to hear from you. What situation makes you freeze the most when you try to speak English? Share your experience in the comments below. Your stories help us all feel less alone in this journey.
Yes, please share. I want to know I'm not the only one who freezes at the coffee shop. And hit that like button if you found this episode helpful. It really helps us reach more learners.
Next time, we're going to dive into how to expand your answers beyond a simple yes or no and start having more natural, flowing conversations. So, you definitely don't want to miss that.
I definitely need that one.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, good enough is perfect for now. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye everyone. See you next time.
Okay, before we go, let's quickly lock in the most important phrases from today.
Choose just one and use it today. Even in a text message. That counts as practice.
Alright, that's a wrap for today. Seriously though, which part of this felt most real to you?
Drop your answer in the comments. And if this helped you, like this video and subscribe. We post new episodes every single day.
This has been SpeakCast English. Thanks for listening. Keep practicing, keep pushing, and we'll see you in the next one.